Embattled Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy went on the Fox propaganda network to try to desperately spin the fact that his party's star witness against the so-called Biden crime family is actually an indicted international arms trafficker and communist Chinese operative. Intrigued? Then click that like, subscribe, and the alert bell, and enjoy the video. Folks, sometimes it's hard to believe that somebody who is the Speaker of the House of Representatives, second in line to presidential succession, one of the most powerful offices in the country, is such a loser. It's so hard to fathom that somebody can occupy that position, such a lofty position, and be such a loser. And here we have Kevin McCarthy. And Kevin McCarthy's speakership was destined for loserdom, given that his party barely squeaked a majority in the November 2022 midterms, despite numerous political headwinds, the fact that it took him double-digit attempts to win the speakership in the first place, the fact that he's basically holding his caucus together with like scotch tape and baling wire. He's got two factions constantly fighting one another. His closest confidant is Marjorie Taylor Greene. This dude, you can see it on his face. Look at his face right there. These are the eyes of a man who hates what he has, right? He's the dog that caught the car. He got his speakership, and he doesn't know what to do with it. So he went on the Fox propaganda network to try to desperately spin the fact that Gal Luft, who was the Republican Party's star witness against the so-called Biden crime family, has actually been under investigation since 2019 when Donald Trump was president, and has been indicted under seal since like November 2022, when so months and months and months ago, for, among other things, I mean, violating U.S. sanctions to try to sell oil to Iran, international arms trafficking, and also trying to influence the 2016 Trump campaign on behalf of communist China. This is their star witness. The guy that they would not shut up about is so credible. Guys, he's so credible. He's so credible. We need the Biden family, the Biden crime family, to be held accountable, and this man's going to do it. And then we find out about all this. You need to watch these clips and just see Kevin McCarthy desperately try to hold it all together, because it's hilarious.
I know that you do not take impeachment lightly. You've said many times we have to get the evidence, we have to do the work. We're not going to just come in like a bull in a china shop and start trying to impeach everybody. But you made the decision to mention impeachment the other day, the potential of impeachment for Attorney General Merrick Garland. This has to be serious for you to raise this, because I know you've said it umpteen times. You're not going to come in willy-nilly and just try to throw impeachment around. What are you most concerned about?
Well, there's a reason why I won't do that, because I watched what it did to our country. I watched what Adam Schiff, when he politicized something, when we wouldn't go through due process. I raised the question about impeachment inquiry, and the reason I raised that question is based upon what the IRS whistleblower has told us. He said that David Weiss, in a meeting of 6 people, said he got denied to have a special counsel. He was denied to prosecute. Why did Hunter Biden, why did they wait 6 years so the statute of limitations on one of the most serious elements of Hunter Biden, where he doesn't have to pay on hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes, to go to the side? Why they move indictments faster on other people? Well, based upon that meeting and based upon what Garland has told us, someone is lying. And in doing so, I raised the question is, we have to know who in this process is lying. And if it is found that Attorney General Garland is lying, that rises to the level of an impeachment inquiry. And that would be a different investigation, and that would be based upon the facts of what we know.
So I should clarify, that was supposed to be the second clip that I played, because there's about 3. But so he's first referring to, because there are a couple of whistleblowers, the IRS whistleblower in question was making allegations that the U.S. prosecutor who was appointed by Donald Trump to investigate Hunter Biden, that actually David Weiss was handcuffed, effectively, pun intended, by Attorney General Garland and other DOJ officials, that he couldn't investigate Hunter Biden fully, that he was barred from bringing certain charges against Hunter Biden, that basically Garland, on behalf of Biden, was putting his thumbs on the scale to protect Biden's son. Now, David Weiss, the Trump-appointed not special prosecutor, U.S. attorney investigating Hunter Biden, has repeatedly refuted this in letters written to the Justice Department, where he said, look, Attorney General Garland stayed out of my way. He didn't interfere in any respect. I was repeatedly assured that, number one, if I wanted special counsel status, if I wanted to become a full-on special counsel, I could make my case to the Attorney General and would be given full authority if I felt that it was needed, number one. Number two, he said repeatedly, the Attorney General told Weiss repeatedly, and Weiss has written this in 2 letters released to the public that are directed to the Republicans in Congress, that he could bring any charge in any district against Hunter Biden. So again, Kevin McCarthy is desperate to scramble here. Well, this whistleblower is saying one thing, yeah, but the subject, the Trump-appointed subject, your cult leader's handpicked nominee for the District of Delaware, is saying, no, that's not true. I could have done whatever I wanted. So it's just pure copium on his part. Now, the other clip I wanted to play, the one I was actually talking about, was in respect to Gal Luft, who was the other whistleblower, the other star witness against the so-called Biden crime family. And it's hard to keep these investigations, memorable because again, the Republican Party in Congress, they are throwing everything at the wall, hoping that it sticks. They're going after Hunter Biden, but they're also investigating the Biden crime family and its ties to China, its ties to Ukraine. And again, the star witness in that particular prong of the Republican Party's, full court press against President Biden has been indicted since November as an international arms trafficker, as a violator of U.S. sanctions, and as an operative for the Communist Chinese Party. So let's hear what Kevin McCarthy has to say.
Speaker, you keep getting stonewalled even so. Let's face it, Gal Luft was just indicted. Okay, this was one of your key whistleblowers. I want to get your take on what you're going to do about it, because how many more whistleblowers are going to come forward after knowing that this guy who tried to tell the FBI and the DOJ what he knew about the transactions, business deals in the Biden family, now he had to go on the run and now is getting indicted?
Well, Maria, if you look at what has transpired since we've taken the majority, we've now found that those 51 members that have been former CIA and others, we came forward and found that they lied. We now know where COVID originated from. Each day we make progress. It might not be as fast as everybody wants, but the one thing we will do is, as you know from me, I will never give up on the American public. And we have new whistleblowers coming forward, and we're able to protect them. But what we're doing as we walk through is showing the truth, not playing politics with it, but showing the truth. And today we'll have Director Wray before us, and he's going to have a lot of questions to have to answer. At the same time, we're moving our appropriation bills that now we're able to save $2.1 trillion, something no Congress has been able to do before. We've got work requirements to reform welfare. We've got abilities to do things different than before, and we're all doing that with only having a 5-seat majority in the House. And that's why when we work together and when we focus, it's not just Republicans. We ask the Democrats out there as well that they care about America to let's make sure we have accountability, but let's make sure we have an economy that's strong, a border that is secure, and preparing for our future. And that's something that we're doing right now with our Defense Department and the NDAA as we walk through to make sure our defense and our system is actually preparing people so we don't have to go to war instead of worrying about the wokeism that's tearing down our military today.
He had to throw in the word woke in there. He knew he was floundering. He knew he was filibustering. He's like, okay, crap, she's right. See, and this, by the way, this is what I'm talking about. Maria Bartiromo is joining the legion of, Republican sympathizing members of the media, particularly on Fox News, who are fed up with James Comer and Jim Jordan and Kevin McCarthy for talking a big game, for edging them, basically what they're doing. Hey, you got us all hot and bothered. You told us that you have whistleblowers that will put the Biden crime family in jail or whatever, get them out of power, hold them accountable. And every single time, month after month after month after month after month after month, you fail spectacularly to deliver the goods. Your whistleblowers go missing. They recant. They're refuted. The transactions that you talk about just refer to people receiving money, no evidence of impropriety, no evidence of illegality. Joe Biden is not a name on any of these accounts. You always come up short. And as he says here, notice how he tries to spin. He's like, well, listen, there are going to be other whistleblowers. He doesn't even try to challenge the veracity of the allegations made. He doesn't even try to correct the fact that, again, Gal Luft was under investigation as far back as 2019 during the Trump administration. He's been under sealed indictment since November 2022, before the Republicans had any clues, before they took the majority, right? So before this investigation into Hunter and Joe Biden this latest investigation into Hunter and Joe Biden even took off. That's how long ago Gal Luft was under seal, which is why they could never find this whistleblower, because he knew he was under indictment, and he's been a fugitive that entire time. So anyway, watching Kevin McCarthy scramble here to try to deflect from his party's obvious failings, the fact that they overemphasize culture war takes, the fact that they have nothing to show for their majority after campaigning to the American public. They're certainly not trying to work with the president and the Democrats and trying to deliver results for the American people. They're just weaponizing the system to hurt Biden politically. And it may be effective. There's some polling to indicate that it does. But in terms of offering a good faith effort for the American people, for their actual problems, he and his party have failed.